I think you can definitely make an argument that you can consider the Beirut Blast as a crime against humanity. You need to prove, first of all, that it was widespread or systematic. An attack against a civilian population, that part's going to be very easy to prove. And then you have to prove that the government either intended that it was going to happen or knew with high probability that would happen and acted or didn't act anyway, even though they had the knowledge that it was likely to lead to these deaths. The category you would be arguing for is that it constitutes dolus eventualis, which means that the perpetrator knew with a high probability that these deaths were going to occur. And I think that's the crux of the argument. You need to prove that the Lebanese government took this action and knew there was a really high risk of these deaths occurring as a result of that. So I think, yeah, that's the thing that we would really have to look at making a strong argument about. I think you can argue that they did. Systematic doesn't necessarily mean the same thing happens as a written government policy. If there is a pattern of actions that plays out again the same way over time and has the effect of basically being an attack on a civilian population over time, then you can make the argument that it's systematic. So I think that there is even an argument to make there. But I think the easier one to do would be to try and prove that it's widespread. The act that matters is the killings, because the damage is not part of a crime against humanity. It's the killings that matters for the definition of that crime. If you can prove that people died in a way that was widespread, so kind of across Beirut, I think that you could make that argument. Technically, the actions that came after the blast would not be able to be used to prove the crime of the blast because they're out of the jurisdiction because they came afterwards. But I think just in general in Lebanon, you can see kind of a pattern or a system of acts of government negligence which result in what could be considered an attack and deaths of the civilian population. Crimes against humanity can happen in peacetime. So that's the reason that, you know, they can be this catch-all category for governments that are attacking, but it doesn't have to be in a time of conflict for that to be considered an international crime.